Hello, this is LordUg. Yes, it is, and welcome to a new series I've decided to do called The First Hour Catch or Release. Catch or Release simply because if it catches you, you'll want to keep playing the games. If they don't really catch you in the first hour, then you might want to just release them and not play them and go and find something else. Now, the reason I think I wanted to do this is because even though I think there's a lot of good review channels out there, of course, they are very spoiler heavy. And watching them, even though it gives you a good idea if a game's good or not, it does actually spoil the game, the kind of the story or what's coming up in a game. So rather than do that, what I'd rather do is just kind of cover what a game's like in the first, say, hour that you'll play it. Has it got a good tutorial? Is it easy to get into? Has it got a steep learning curve? Is it going to be something that'll frustrate you in the first hour? Or actually, is it easy to play and it'll excite you? Kind of how the graphics hit you when you first play it, things like that. How the buttons are, how is it easy to control? All this kind of thing that actually isn't that deeply to do with the actual story of the game or anything like that, but just simply can you get into the game and enjoy it? Now, of course, I'm going to start with an easy game for me, that just to kind of this first episode. So we're going to start with Dead Cells, which is one of my favourite games, so it's going to be maybe a little bit biased, but I am still going to look at it the best I can, and we'll take you through, and I will point out some pros and cons of the game, and then I'll give my opinion, and I don't think I'll give a score to it, because I'm not actually reviewing the game. I'll leave it open to you to decide from what I say, whether you think you'll play it or not, and we'll go from there. So let's get into it. Okay, so what is Dead Cells? Well, Dead Cells is described as being a roguelike Metroidvania video game. Metroidvania meaning a mixture between the games Metroid and Castlevania. And roguelike means one life, basically. It's kind of like if you play Dungeons and Dragons, where you build a character and it gets stronger, but if it dies, it's gone, it's done, it's dead. Well, this is the same. Although it changes in the fact that even though your character dies and you do have to start again, you actually don't lose any of the items you picked up in that run. So you'll go through a run, you'll go as far as you can, you'll die, and you will die in this game. It's made so you die. If you're one of them people that like to go through games and you don't want to be killed or anything, you're not going to like this game. So you're going to die a lot by many different things. But the things that you pick up in the adventure you have will be saved. So then when you respawn and you've got to start from the start, you'll at least have all the items. It just means basically you have to start from the very first room again and start going through all the levels again. And if you die, you go right back to the first room again and have to start again. But you do keep all your items that you picked up, that you unlocked, any blueprints you picked up. I'll explain that about those later, etc. And you're kind of progressing through the game by keep doing a new run over and over and over again, and that'll help you get further and further and further. You'll unlock more things, you'll become more powerful, you'll get more spells, and you can build more abilities kind of thing, and you can build these things up, make them stronger, and so over time you'll find it less and less challenging because you'll have more and more things at your disposal. So that's basically the setup of Dead Cells. So you are going to die a lot, but it's a lot of fun to play. So let's actually get in. You can see the game now, so let's actually get into the game. Now the first thing I noticed when playing this game was there's very much a lack of a tutorial. Now you can go to options, but all these things are just settings. You don't matter what you click on. So there's nothing that actually takes you through a tutorial. The only thing I've got is a keyboard layout or a controller layout. Now, yeah, that helps. It gives you an idea what jumps, what rolls, and all this kind of thing, what picks things up, but I would personally, by the way, suggest using a controller in this. This is a controller layout. The controller's a lot easier to use, and makes it so that you can do things a lot quicker. So let's get into a game. Let's start a game off. So like I say, lack of tutorial, but there are tooltips that comes up to teach you how to pick things up. So this is how a game starts. You'll roll, you'll get into a body that starts it. Now, I will be doing jump cuts. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch an hour's worth of gameplay, so don't worry about that. Here's a little thing telling you where your first tooltip, where you press RB. This is with an Xbox controller I'm using here. Now you bump into this guy, and he kind of gives you a little bit of backstory. There will be some, if you want to see what he's saying, just pause it. And but as you see, there's not a lot of explaining. It's just like a vague concept, tells you to pick something up, and then that's it, you're on your way. Now you've got to remember, I am playing after playing like hundreds of hours in this game. Hundreds of hours. So I already know about rolling through things, roll through bombs, roll through attacks, you know, and how to basically maximise everything you do. I can also move fast, I know how the game works. But if you played this for the first time, and it's all to do with tooltips, you will end up moving very slow. Like, for example there, I rolled through a section, from one section to another. If you didn't know how to do that, with that little grated section that I rolled through, you would easily miss it. And sometimes you have to cut through them to get to another part of the map. But it doesn't explain it. So, I think lack of tutorial is a slight problem. Now, of course, if you need to know any buttons, like look at your map or things like that, you can just have a look on the in the options. It is in there. Again, it would be easier maybe if there was a bit of a tutorial for it, but it's not a big deal this day. You know, you can easily just look through the buttons. It doesn't take a minute. When I first played this, it took me a few minutes. It took me a little time to work out how to roll. I didn't know that the controller layout was in the options. So I remember when I first played this, I didn't actually know you could roll. So I got my ass kicked a hell of a lot. This is you have to, I did that too quick. I apologise there. But basically, you can put the skills up you have in the bottom left corner. You can kind of increase their power by using them scrolls. So, for example, you get 3 colours: red, purple, and green. I picked the purple there because I've got a bow, and I tend to pick up purple weapons longer. That was a blueprint. Now, a blueprint later on will be, you will be able to use that blueprint later to get that sword. It was a sword blueprint for a blood sword, and you'll be able to unlock that later, and then actually get that within game. Once you unlock the blueprint and you've taken it to the collector, and you will see the collector later, then once you've taken it to the collector, you will then be able to get that sword in the game. You have to unlock it first though, and I'll explain that as well. So this is basic stuff. There is another scroll. So I'm going on purple again because the whip is purple, so it's going to increase the power of the whip. Also, you get a little boost. You get a boost to your HP. But each time you pick the same colour, so if you keep picking red, keep picking green, or keep picking purple over and over again, you will not. You will get, the bonus will be less and less. This is a shop area where you can buy things. It's simple, really. You're making money in the bottom right corner. You can see how much you've got there. You just press RB, you know, if you want to buy something. I'm not going to take you too much through the mechanics of the game. This isn't about that. This is kind of just saying, how does the game feel? If you're using the controller, it actually works really well. I mean, I was surprised how smooth it actually rolls, but I found it quite uncomfortable on a keyboard because there's a lot more buttons and you have to really think quick. It kind of becomes instinctive with a controller. This is a chest. You open it up. RB speaks for itself. And now I'm going to start to jump to different parts of the game. I just kind of want to take you through this area. The map will show you, of course, where you've gone, where you haven't gone. And these doors you can get timed. You can get timed through. So let's go through here. For example, there you go. Now the first door is if you can do the level under 2 minutes. I can do it, but you'll not get. But the second door that I'm going through now is if you can get 30 kills in the level. So it's really hard to do both. I don't think I've done both very often because it's really hard to get 30 kills in 2 minutes and end up at the getting out of the level. So here you can pick 3 rewards for doing the challenge. In this case, I can have like a fire reward where I can throw like fire balls at them, kind of thing. That's a grenade, and this is in the middle. Is one of my favourite items in the game. It's a freeze. In this case, though, I'm going to go for the fire because we're going to do some destroying. That's what this is for. Now, the frost one is actually really good because you can use it quickly. So, yeah, very nice. And now we can just leave because it's just simple reward. You get some extra cells, you get some money, and you get to pick a weapon or an item, I should say. Now, this is a collector. You give him the blueprints, and you also use him to unlock the blueprints. So, as you can see here, the blood sword that I picked up is at the bottom. It's now in that list. But first, you need to open up your first healing potion. After this, now I'm gonna start to unlock the second one, but the next level up on the healing potion. But I can actually, if I want, unlock the blood sword now, and it'll be in the game all the time. This little guy here, you pick up what you want to start, a little bonus you can take into the game. We're going to take this item in because if you die, it actually brings you back with half life and gives you all your cells back that you were carrying at the time. Because when you die, your cells just pop all over the place and you lose them. Well, that'll give you a second life and it brings everything back to you, all your cells, and you get to try again. So anyway, I'm going to now skip forward to different parts of the game and kind of explain what's in there and how I think that affects the first hour. This, by the way, everything you see here is all the things you will be facing in the first hour. Now, you might not face them as quick as I do because I'm going through quite fast. You might not get this, as far as I do in an hour, but you will be facing all this kind of thing. Now, items are very stat driven, as you can see here, and as you go on, they get more and more perks on them. You can always swap them around as well to make it more comfortable which buttons do what, which is a nice touch. But yeah, as you go on, you can upgrade your weapons and the skills that you get and everything. So you get more and more stats, and it becomes a bit stat heavy, but it's not too uncomfortable. It's actually handled very well. So that ain't a complaint actually, because I do like this kind of game. And anybody who's kind of played games where you have to control watch stats on weapons and everything, it'll be second nature to you. So that's not a negative. You'll also get shop areas like this one, where you can spend the money that you've been earning while you've been killing things, and you can buy other things. You can see the stats on them. You get a comparison, so that's nice. That's a good thing because you can compare if what you've got is better than what you could buy, or vice versa. And that's nice, and it makes it nice and easy. They do actually handle that really well, so that's another plus to them. Now, there's also bosses and mini bosses to fight in this game. So this, for example, is a mini boss. You see this green thing on the floor here at my feet? That's something you need a special room to trigger. And you fight mini bosses like this, and you kill these, and they'll leave a room for you to pick up, and that will let you activate some of these things. There's more than one. There's more than just this green thing here. There's actually several. So you've got to find these mini bosses, but there are also full bosses that you fight, and they're a lot harder, but their rewards are of course a lot better. Now, at several points, of course, you will bump into a full boss, a proper boss, and like this one, this is a concierge, and usually the rewards are very good for them. He's kind of the lowest level one you'll face, but it's pretty decent. The balance is actually quite nice on the bosses. So let me just get to the end of this. I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, so he's just gone, dropped dead. And as you can see, you get some decent rewards. The actual balance of the bosses I do like on this game. I think they've made them challenging, and you will lose to them at times. You don't always take it for granted that you'll beat them, but they've made it challenging, but not impossible. And if you do it right, you will actually you stand a good chance of winning if you have the right items for the right. Some bosses are actually easier to beat with some items rather than others. So yeah, it's about over time working out what works best for you. Also, you might actually have favourite weapons or that you actually like to go through the game with. And or again, over time, as you unlock blueprints and find more, they'll be good for you. So let's jump on to the last part. And then, of course, finally, you get to the throne room, which is the final boss of the game. And again, a nice challenge, but he can beat you up pretty regularly, this one, if you're not careful. So again, it's about finding the path that's best for you. And this guy's tough. And then when you finally finish your run through, you end up this disembodied little blob thing, and then you go into that little kind of fountain, and you'll work your way down, and lo and behold, you end up back in the prisoner's quarters where you began the game, and you have to start all over again. And you'll drop down from the pipe, and there you go. This is where you started the game the first time. So you just basically come full circle. So there it is, Dead Cells. It's a game I've got a very soft spot to because I do like these kind of games. But as I said, talking about the downsides to it, the tutorial, there isn't one. The tool tips are good enough to take you through, but in some cases there's little things you don't know, like rolling's a very important thing to dodge many attacks, and you don't really explain that. It just tells you, there's no kind of tutorial teaching you these kind of things. And also, if you're not the kind of person that wants to be killed a lot, or isn't into that kind of repetitiveness where it repeats, then you're not going to like this game, because it basically is the same thing over and over again. There's little things, you can go different paths, like I fought the concierge. You can go a different path and not even fight him, and fight another different bosses instead. But the point is, there's only so many different paths you can go, and once you've run them all, it's basically then just trying to fill up all your items. And there's hundreds of them, so it can mean doing the same run over and over and over and over and over again. Just keep going. And it can get tiring a little bit. So with that, if you don't like that kind of thing. Positives, it's just everything else. I really like it. I like the fact that you've got the stats on weapons, how it compares them. I like how smoothly it does run. I like the balance they have. They have a great balance with bosses. It's not too hard, but at the same time, if you make a mistake, you're going to get punished for it. There is quite a variety of things you can do. There's many weapons and things you can collect, so you can always try different things. You want to run through with a bow? You can run through with a bow. You want to run through with swords or whips or all this kind of stuff. You can do that. This game gives you that. And I think it just has a great variety. This parts on it, it's not really much of a story, but it is actually very amusing. So, yeah, it's... for me, it's a plus. I love this game. But, as I said, there are things, if you don't like the things I've mentioned, then I'd say try something else. But I think most people who play this will find it easy to pick up. And once you get used to if you follow the tooltips, once you get used to everything, you will actually find it quite easy to play. There's just little things that you'll have to learn along the way, and that can be a bit trial and error-ish, but that's just how it is. I suppose a lot of games are like that. So as for marks, I give this game from my point of view, because judging it how I like the game, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Which is what I'm going to be marking on out of 10. So, yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me, but as I said, for those that don't like repetitiveness or dying a lot or want more than just some tool tips, want more of a tutorial, then you're not going to like this game. But for me, it's a good solid 9 out of 10. So anyway, this is Dead Cells. Thanks for watching. Not sure if I'm going to be happy with this layout in the end. I might change some things, how I do it. This is only the first episode, but I'll put it up. And then I'll do another game, and I'll see if if I feel like changing a few things up, they might change a few things to how I've done this one. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you like Dead Cells, go get it. It's on Steam. There will obviously be a link in the description to it. But that's it from me, so goodbye for now.